Hello, everybody, and welcome to Jim and Jude Show / Music with the Grump. Doing things a little bit different today. We're outside today. There's some construction going on at my place, so it might get a little cool. It is December 23rd, so this is our year-end show. We didn't do a show last week because we had some uh, emergencies. We had a couple of deaths that we had to deal with, and for all those who know me on Facebook, thank you for all your support. Um, Before we go into the top 10 for the year, I just want to say to everybody, the Kendrick's fans, Tyler the Creator's fans, Beyonce's fans, Taylor's fans, Charlie XCX, her fans, everybody's fans, I want to say thank you for being patient with an old man. I went into this listening to music I'd never heard. I've heard of the people, just never listened to the albums. And most of y'all were just happy that somebody's giving something a try. And I did like 99.5% of the stuff I heard. Okay? You Charlie fans, you're right. Okay, I go into this as an exploratory thing. You told me to re-listen to it and not the remixes and go into it with a party atmosphere. You're going to like the album a lot more. You're going to like Brett. And it's true. You will. I went out grilled. Jude can tell you, when I'm grilling and listening to music, I'm in the best mood ever. So, thank you for that. Now, on to this top 10 list. My disclaimer was that, well, on the Tim and Jim show, I would always start, okay, I only listen to really Americana music, singer-songwriters, and what I like to call any artist from the Augusta Club. Augusta Club is where they have the masters. So anybody who made music in the 70s, I always listened to. So now, I listened to a lot more this year, but I didn't get to listen to everybody. Like, for example, I didn't get to hear Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds album. I didn't get to hear Ian Hunter's Deep Purple. You know, I didn't get to hear those albums that I normally would have heard. But because of the show, I did hear Tyler the Creator. I did listen to Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Willow Smith. I would have never listened to Willow at all. I probably wouldn't have listened to Beyonce's, and I wouldn't have listened to Tyler the Creator's as well. But I did, and I was exposed to new music, and I'm very happy that you got me to start doing all this, because now I'm getting exposed to more stuff like I did in the 70s and the 80s when I listened to everything. Before we get to the top 10, just a few things. You have the top 10, then you got what they call a special jury prize, which is like, it's really good, it's just not quite in there. And that would go to Father John Misty's Mahash Mashana album. It had been a while since he put an album out, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm creating a new award called the Augusta Club Award, an older gentleman who got in there, and that would be David Gilmour's Luck and Strange. Both of those albums I thought were great. They just didn't quite crack the top 10. And my new find would be Charlie XCX. I really enjoyed that. Nicky Hopkins, I discovered him. He died around 72. I was just driving and I heard this song on the radio. Oh my God, that's great. Then the next song was him as well. So the Nicky Hopkins album from 1972 was hot. Oh, goodness. Here we go. All right, the top 10. Number 10, Gruff Reed's Sadness Sets Me Free. He's an alternative musician. Plays not hard. When you say alternative, you sometimes think, well, I used to think when I saw alternative, it wasn't heavy metal, but a harder sound. It's not a harder sound. He's a very good songwriter. And I really suggest you listen to Gruff Reese. Number 9, Sarah Jarosz, Polaroid Lovers. A singer-songwriter, had a bunch of good tunes on there. May have been, I have a format that I do, kind of a data sheet. And maybe she would have been rated higher, but The album's good, but it's not like top 2, 3 material. But it's a very good album. This new guy, this next guy, he's been around, but I was just discovered him this year, thanks to Tim Bryant. Micah Schnabel, traditional folk artist. It is The Clown Watches the Clock. Guys, this is what I think some people, when they first heard Dylan, were going like, whoa, this guy's telling a good story here. The stories that he told on this album about society, things that are going a little bit wrong with it. It was a true folk artist, Micah Schnabel. Here we go. Making it into Jimmy Mascaro's top 10. Kendrick Lamar, GNX. I remember listening to this. I'm trying to end the show. I'm like, I feel like I should be talking more about this album, but I'm pretty ignorant about it. But I did love the album. And I found out this is just the beginning. He's going to make a trilogy of albums. And this was just stuff that didn't make it. This was just a bunch of tunes he wrote. So I am looking very forward to Kendrick coming out next year. I heard he's coming out real soon, early next year. All right, this band, an Americana band, which I would have heard, and I've heard this group previously. I've never cracked the top 10, but 10, 9, 8, at number 6, Waxahachie, Tiger's Blood. I really enjoyed this Americana band. The singing was on point. The music was great. You're going to love it. Number 5 had something that I really like. A great beginning of the album type song. It started out phenomenally. When you albums that had good starts, you're looking at the Joshua Tree. That started out great by U2. Born to Run with Thunder Road starting that album out. You know, just great. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. You know, they all started out great. So this album started out great. I thought this was going to be up there, probably in the top 2 or 3, but it did make 5. Last Dinner Party, Prelude to Ecstasy, number 5. In fact, one of the things that got Jude to do this show was somebody was listening to it with his father, and the father just went 8 bananas. And Jude's, we got to listen. Oh, I've already heard. He goes, dang it. I wanted you to be the first. I wanted you to listen to it first with me. And that could have been our first show, but unfortunately, I already had heard it. Their song Sinner. Oh, goodness gracious. Number 4, Hurrah for the Riff Raff. The Pest is Still Alive. That's an Americana album, has a good Western feel to it. I really enjoyed, Last Dinner Party is a female band too. They're on point. All right. No, wait. Hurrah for the Riff Raff. No, that's the Americana album. Good Western feel. It's very melodic, and I really enjoyed it. Number 3. This was the first album I heard in 2024, and I'm like, man, if all the albums sound like this is going to be a great year. And it was a great year. Bill Ryder Jones. Oh, Lord. I Kid Da. That's the way I'm reading it. It's IECHYD and then Da. So, I Kid Da. Alternative sound, kind of mellowed out. I really enjoyed it. Bill Ryder Jones. Now, like I said, I have a spreadsheet of stuff, and I do this. And Tim Bryant, when we were doing the Tim and Jim show, was like, I don't know if I could do it that way, Jim. The album's got to really grab me and touch me. And I'm like, well, it does. If it's on my data sheet and it's got this high score, it has really touched me. But the next year, an album came out that was, and I won't say what it is, was very highly rated, my highest rated stuff. But I'm like, this can't be the album of the year. Much like Sarah Jarosz, you know, this can't be as high as my rating scale has it. You know, so it's like, it's got to touch you, it's got to grab you, and this grabbed me. Halsey, the Great Impersonator, is number 2. She's And she started writing this when she had cancer. She's writing these tunes, like, wow, she's revisiting? Wow. And someone pointed out, well, that song is big when at the time of her life of that year. Cher was big. The next one was Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA. So for that year, she's doing that. And you can see it. She finds out she has cancer. Who's going to take care of her kid? All these worries that she has. She thought she was going to die. She's doing well. I'm very happy to announce. But that song really touched me. So that's number 2. Number 1 was an artist I had never heard of before. And that's a good, I feel, rock and roll bar band. You don't know who it is, John. Okay. Jude's back here, like when I read Last Dinner Party, he went bananas. When I read Halsey, I found out that this artist comes from a band called The Wonder Years, okay? And I heard this album, and about 5 songs went, hey, wait a minute, I think this is a concept album. And it is. It's about a guy in a bar band. He starts out just playing by himself. There's some people in the audience that used to play with him. They come up and join on stage. Let's get the band back together if you're not having the problems. And the guy was a raging alcoholic. And it goes back and talks about how he needs to go to rehab. Has to go to rehab. And people come and pick him up and visit him. It's like, dude, you were just in bad too. But he makes it through. And the band's going to get back together. They're playing again. But there was somebody he really hurt. And he goes to hunt her down. And when he sees her walking alone with a child. So she has moved on from him. So this could make him relapse back. But he doesn't. He's got a gig that night. He's going to go to his friends. He's going to support them and play that gig. Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties at number 1. The album is called In Lieu of Flowers. You know, instead of sending me flowers, just support me through this trial that I'm going through. I did neglect to say my song of the year is a song that wasn't a hit, but the song of the year is Skinny by Billie Eilish. If you saw that show, you might remember we had to stop the second song because the Grump had tears in his eyes because it touched him that much. So, song of the year, Billie Eilish, Skinny. Album of the year, Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties. And that was the 3rd album of a trilogy. I have to go back and listen to that. Every 5 years he would put an album out by Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties. His name is Dan Campbell from the Wonder Years. That was the top 10. Listen, it's the holiday season, okay? So I want everyone to have a very Merry Christmas. And after that, next week will be New Year's. And if you stay at home and watch movies like The Grump does, enjoy it with your family. If you go out and you're the designated driver, don't give in to peer pressure, you know, because I know none of y'all are going to drink and drive. It's the other folks who are going to be out there. So you got to be careful. You got to be a defensive driver. Make sure everybody else is driving safe. If you stay home like I am, do that. And if you have friends over, that's great too. So y'all have a good year. I want, just right quickly, next year, the biggest complaint is we don't play enough songs. If the album's less than 50 minutes, we'll probably play the whole album. Because that's if you're not playing enough songs. This was just an exploratory thing. Now it might become a album review show, okay? But I just want to say that we're glad that y'all have been here, and that we hope you'll continue to be with us. During that time, I want y'all to be who? I want y'all to be y'all. Who you gonna be, Jude?
I'm gonna be me.
I'm gonna be me. We gonna be us. And until that time, it's almost Christmas. I just want to say, Merry Christmas, peace on earth, goodwill towards me.